You talk to Mark and get that dumpster out of there by the 25th, whether we're done or not. Is Rob all done with his water problem?
Essentially, there'll be a new one pop up.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah. Did they actually find out where the leak was?
There were a few.
There were a
And
few.
they're private property, but there's still a 10 leaks. There was one house that, and actually I read this in the paper, I shared it to Rob. There was one house where the people had gone away for the winter and opened their faucets, just opened them wide. So that was 30,000 gallons a day.
I hope they got billed for that.
They're not facing criminal charges, however, they did suggest that people could sue them. There was
But
another.
I would think that they have a water bill.
Right? Why don't people know? I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know. You would think.
because
Maybe.
a few
Crazy
years
man.
back, there was one of those issues up in Alice. I think it was up anywhere, up that road, way up by the
Yeah.
glacier. And I guess they had a bill of, $20,000 or $30,000 that they were responsible for.
Or if they talk that out, down.
Yeah, but even still, I mean,
Yeah.
it's
But yeah, it's great. There are a few others.
stupid people should be responsible for their actions. I'm a firm
We're
believer.
gonna be on line now, just so you guys know.
Okay, so we can't talk.
You can still talk.
Other people are listening.
Hey.
Oh, do you have a agenda and stuff?
Yes. Oh, your packet, that's not your packet. Did you not get, do you need your
I
packet?
do. Is that there?
Yeah.
Okay. It's enormous.
Yes, yes, believe me. I'm familiar with it. So.
Maybe I am.
Jennifer.
Thank you.
How's it going? Good, how are you? Great. How are you?
You're not stuck in town tonight, Brett.
Huh?
You're not stuck in town
No,
tonight.
and I didn't have to drive 85 the whole way here either. I actually got out on time. And there was no traffic. So that helped too. Stuff up when I get back home, but.
That stuff, the packet on Shaw's Park. It's gonna be for next time. Beth is gonna come during audience business tonight and go over that, but she couldn't. So she wanted me to hand that out to everybody, and then it'll be on next meeting.
This thing here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You. Well, I don't know, I think I might be in Sydney see the right versus. See, so I'm already, yeah, it's new, we get to start over again. Hi, Sean, welcome back. How's the shoulder?
Let's get there.
What
Shoulder and
The-
neck, I'm sore, but.
The fact that you can take your jacket off,
What do you-
it's amazing.
What'd you do?
Last week was the struggle. What'd you do again?
Oh, what'd you do?
I had surgery on it.
Don't know anything about that, but it doesn't sound fun.
No, so I happened to bring it
I like that
entirely.
birthday stuff, that was.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah,
Something
it's
happened or just?
virtually identical, and it's too big. It
Just-
doesn't fit on, it doesn't, it's not 35%.
Yeah.
Well, in a way, that's because something happened.
People, you get 40.
Steve, I don't remember, I didn't bother
Yeah,
looking
but
up.
you do.
Steve,
I argued that because I wanted it less than that. I argued that to the board of selectmen.
but that's a small size lot.
Yes.
Yeah, he's, okay, 39.88.
But, yeah,
But that's not, you know, the major issue is it's,
the major issue is this is duplicate house.
yeah.
I don't know. No, the reason I wanted to is, I don't know. Now let's say, yes, they will write over. Yeah.
Okay, all right,
That's fine.
all right, so sorry.
No, that's.
Are there still more edits?
No,
Oh,
no.
Must be summer on your side of the room.
Why is that?
The short sleeves, it's cold over
I've
here.
always got short sleeves.
Listen, Mark Grable doesn't believe in jackets. He's that way all winter long. Is this you or me?
That's me.
That's you. All right, so where's?
There's a whole couple. Extra pencil.
Oh, isn't that marvelous? I see it as. Which one do I want? Well, sometimes, yeah. I have to admit. But I really want to. One of our chair is tearing.
Hi, Betsy. Our girls. All right, let's see. Well, we kind of pass it. Mr. Mark.
Oh, Mark?
Cynthia.
Mark?
Yes. Yeah, if we could talk for a few minutes after.
No.
No.
I got some updates.
How are we doing with Mr. Excel?
They're supposed to come and have that thing out of there by the 20th.
Okay.
Now, whether they blow it or not,
Have we heard about a restroom yet?
yes.
What day?
Tentatively the 25th of this month, like a week from this coming Monday.
Okay.
He still has to confirm that.
Does it have doors or is they send it
I know,
out?
the guy I talked to is the guy that is arranging for the
That's good.
logistics.
Yeah, just bring it.
So we'll need to, the dumpster will have to be gone by then. All the cars on Road Street will have to be gone. The parking lot will have to be empty.
That long park across from.
Got to move some rocks down on the corner of the side.
Oh, I
of
see.
the road, pull some signs out.
Okay.
Cross our fingers, they get trucks.
How much does that weigh?
Like 30,000 pounds.
Yeah, that's what Tex is thinking about in here.
I guess they're gonna come down
Permanent, it'll be,
Argentine to 7
That's what they want for
to
us.
Rose.
City park should never
And
have.
then figure out how to get it off the truck.
All of that should be in one park. City
It's just,
park.
yeah, two cars,
Walking.
crane,
That's
big
how it
crane,
is designed.
a bunch of
Those would be
pickup
What'd you get for
trucks.
a crane of record?
They're doing it.
Oh,
The heavy
We don't have to worry about it, which is nice.
Yeah.
The guy that called me was the guy that was out in Kent last fall.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Jen,
Yes.
do you know if this memo from Parks has a date?
So Beth is going to come tonight to the audience business. to Present that, but she had an emergency come up, so she can't be here, she wanted me to give that to you guys,
Tomorrow.
and then it'll be on the next meeting's
Wider
agenda.
label.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right,
Send you a
so,
text when it
okay.
goes.
I was gonna explain all that.
Yeah,
Business
that
portion
does-
came out.
Sure, Mark would have that.
It's
I
just,
could
we have
use
an
some help with
undated
my
memo,
Oh.
and.
Right,
My
I just got it
grandson and I
today,
Picked out.
Let's say
Oh,
today.
somebody got
today's
it.
date,
Yeah.
Let's
It's-
say it's today, so we know
He's
that
off
we're,
from school all next week.
Yes.
Responding in
He requested me
some
for a
sort
job,
of-
so I'm gonna-
You don't have to do anything,
He's gonna
she's gonna
take
be
all
at the
the
next
bills out
meeting, she
straight.
just wanted you guys to like
At
look
my
at that in the meantime.
certainly
What
will.
you do is find somebody to take all those 2x4s.
Well, we'll take them later, yeah, we'll take them and pull them apart, sell them if we can. Yeah, I planned, I'll take them down tomorrow. If, no one's around, I'll
14.
I'll go in and pull the rest of that electrical out of it. So it's on your way.
I should know that, my granddaughter arrives tomorrow.
And we'll schedule for tomorrow. It's upstairs.
Hopefully it warms up this year.
Yeah, it's, we'll show you.
I saved some of that wire too. Just need some wire. I didn't check how much-
It'll all be new.
Yeah, in case we need some.
Yeah, I'll probably throw that.
Yeah, because
When I talked to Wayne Kaczynski.
Yeah.
About the idea of
need to have
a volunteer or semi-volunteer professional group.
Yeah.
Putting up the structure.
Yeah.
And he was on the same page. He says, yeah, I'm already thinking about that. He's gonna try and get up.
who knows?
I
It's a free
assume she
labor.
was.
So, Mark Antonio.
Yeah.
This is one,
Jeff.
but he's, you know, he's gonna kind of work on that. He,
Even if
He
you
likes
just,
that.
even if you just ran like it, we get enough flavors.
He says he, you know, so I'm gonna let him kind of talk to the people, you know, I'm sure I can get right here sometime.
If he doesn't lay out and have one good cut.
Yeah, he thinks it'll go pretty quick.
Yeah.
He doesn't, you know, he's afraid of it. That's what he loves to.
Afraid of all my stuff.
And I sent an inquiry to
Like what, 2 years now?
Colorado, I think it's Colorado, timber frame. I sent them the information. I'm sure it's gonna be outlandish. I'm curious, just to see, you know, a package that we can.
A good idea.
I almost did that. I know.
Because that'd be nice if it. Get that, so we'll see what happens.
Mr. Reynolds?
No,
Yes.
no, no.
Okay.
Okay, I guess if you guys are willing. Since I find my agenda.
You need the term? I'll get you.
Yeah, here it is. I got it right. All right. Good evening, everybody. How about roll call?
Joan Eaton, Sean Platt. Here. Cindy Neely. Here. Betsy Blixley. Here. Mark Reynolds.
Here.
Bob Hamilton.
Here.
Frank Ganser.
Here.
All right. Agenda approval. Anybody have anything to add, subtract?
We should talk about the 45 pages.
Okay. You want to do that tonight for sure, or you want to wait?
I think we should at least figure out where we are.
Okay,
Well, Mary Jones has dropped off.
yes,
Okay.
okay. So Mary Jones is off, so we're at, so could I have a motion to approve the agenda? Let's start that way.
I move that we approve the agenda with the two changes that were just noted.
Okay, second,
I'll second it.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Audience business, any member of the audience will have 5 minutes to present any matter concerns to the commission. No official action may be taken at this time. Anybody here for audience business?
And I could just speak for Beth that she wanted to distribute that memo to you guys. And then that'll be on the next. meeting's agenda.
All
She
right,
just wanted you to look at it.
so noted. All right. How about 1777 Main Street? Anybody here for that? Come on.
Well, there's no, I mean,
Yeah, there's no place for you to go.
You have somebody on Zoom that's gonna speak to.
Okay. How about you move up to the front pew here?
Went to the front pew.
Just in case I can't hear you.
Just in case, oh, yeah.
I've been known to throw stuff once or close.
lacking here because we need places for applicants to sit down.
What's that?
We're gonna get a podium and we can't still, we were thinking about that.
Yes, they usually bring paperwork.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're all in a new configuration. So
Yeah,
we're
this
trying
is-
to adjust. So
We're adjusting. Here comes the boss. Oh, boy. I'm safe. I'm safe. Three of us. Three of us.
Right.
John,
Wait a minute, more.
John, would like to start properly.
Usually it's Cindy.
Revenge is sweet, isn't it?
The bell was ringing. I heard it.
I'm so excited.
Oh, yeah, I tried to call and say, I don't have a link. So I signed in on the other one, I was like, uh-oh. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Didn't start.
Okay, why don't you state your name for us and the property address?
Oh, my name is Cindy Trickle. I'm at 1777 Main Street. And this was just about adding solar panels.
Okay, all right.
So they should have submitted all of the paperwork
We have
and
the
all of that,
paperwork.
yeah, the power. And that's who was supposed to be on there.
And the photo is right in front of you.
Which is the back of the building.
No, that's, yeah.
That's the front.
That's the front.
That's the front?
Yes,
Okay,
the garage is to the left of that.
okay.
Where the trailer is.
Because actually, what this condition is about is what it looks like from, you know, from the outside.
No, for sure.
It is not about, how well the panels work or don't work or any
Or
of
any of
the,
that.
Not technical.
is any of the technical, so, yes, we had a lot of.
Yeah, there is, yeah.
Really interested in where exactly are they? How would you describe where they are?
They're gonna be on all the front and the back of the roof because of the number of panels that are going to be, that needed to generate the power on there. And so there should be a picture which shows the configuration of where they are. So there'll be some on the front, the back, and on both sides of the garage. But they lay flat.
There is a total of 17 panels.
Yes.
And according to the pictures, they do lay flat against the roof. They are matte finish.
Dark black,
I believe so, aren't they?
if that finish could be white.
That's true. Very
I
good
think I
point.
saw it was black.
I haven't
Yeah,
seen
I saw
any.
hardware, and I thought it said black someplace.
Well, this says
I see
black
pictures.
module,
What looks like that.
but they're not on these.
Yeah, it's just black.
There's extra.
Yeah, we can just put that down as stipulation also.
There's actually, I guess,
9,
29?
29? I had 17. How did I get 17?
This one.
Okay, here's a good picture.
well,
Yeah, I got 29. 17 on the front. Yeah, there's 17 on the front.
Holy moly. Well, that was Mary Jones's. That's where I got that. Sorry, folks.
Main Street is here. This is the front of the house.
It's right next to the
This
tennis
whole
court.
roof-
Correct.
This whole roof is covered with panels.
Everybody know where it's at? It's right next to the tennis court, that duplex.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did try to figure out.
Any commission members have any questions?
Question. The question is that we have,
Comments?
been a little bit conscious about panels that are on the front facing roof. And we basically turn those kind of panels down in the historic area.
This is not a contributing house.
No, this is
No.
down by the news.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
this
Right,
is,
tennis court.
this, and the guidelines that. So I wrote down somewhere, book 3, page 86.
86.
7, and 7A, 6, and 7E.
Yep.
Guidelines does not mention that in book 3, though I think it does mention it in book 2.
It does in 2.
And so,
Plus, we had just approved one down the street from there.
on the front,
it's a pretty low slope on that roof too, isn't it?
It's a 6 something like that. Is it 612? I can't remember. I shan't.
Yeah, it looks like-
okay, but for sightings, book 3, and chapter 11, section 7, E. If attached, 8E1, if attached to the building, solar collect device should lay flush with the roof line. And under A, same page, A6, any utility device or piece of service equipment should have a matte or non-reflective finish and be coordinated with the building's colors. And in this case, I would say that black universally helps, but it's not jumping.
Anything else?
That's all I.
I think that's about it.
Somebody want to make a motion?
Motion to approve with the citing stated.
How about a second?
I'll second.
Bob seconds it. Any public comment? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Easy sneezy. All right, how about, we're not doing Mary Jones, so we're doing 410 3rd Street. And Tom, you in charge of that one? Here's for there. Come on up here.
Ted is the owner, he's on the screen there.
Raise your right hand, swear in. Tell us what you're doing, please. Give us the address first and who you're working for and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, 410 Main Street is the property address, so just kind of find us this way. Ted Lechanowski is the owner. He is a historic contributing structure. And we're just looking to do an addition that adds some closet and a bathroom to the master bedroom. So the addition would be on the back side of the house. And the picture on that A3 sheet kind of shows the view from the front of the house. To show that this would not be visible at all from the street. And really, the only place this is visible for starters is would be in the backyard. So not that. So anyway, so we're doing an addition back there, which is a simple shed roof to enclose and put a roof over that addition.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll address that. That was, yeah, that last, I'm not sure when it was in front of you guys, in September, like.
October 20th.
Yeah, the 20th, I think was the.
Was the Board of Adjustment.
Correct. So, yeah, you guys looked at a site plan to show, been approved, since been approved for an encroachment into the side setback for this addition to give enough room to do what we need to do back there. So, and essentially we are just in the same plane as the existing wall. So we're just going to keep that existing wall, which is already been set back as well. So that is where you've seen it before.
And it's,
So I'm assuming that recommendation came from you guys to approve this setback variance. The setback variance was approved.
and we have the minutes from the Board of Adjustment meeting in our packages.
Okay.
Which describe that.
Why don't you tell us what kind of windows you're gonna use?
We're looking at aluminum clad window again, on these back windows, just for energy efficiency and simplicity of availability. And that would just be the two small windows, the W2 windows that are noted on the north elevation there. The W1 window is the taller, skinnier one. That's an existing window. It's in a wall. We're going to be covering up essentially with this addition. We'll pop that window out and put it on, on there. So,
Is it an old window or a new window?
no, those were replaced, and Ted can chime in on when, that's a newer window. They had windows replaced. I'm not sure when that was, but.
Okay, then how about siding? What are you doing on siding?
Horizontal lap siding to match existing.
Okay.
And
Shingles to match existing also?
actually on this one, we're looking at a rolled, called out for a rolled roof just because it's a flat pitch to kind of get where we, to get a, you know, the wall height on the back of there and to miss the window, if you look on the north elevation, that shed roof needs to miss a window on the existing portion. There's like an overframe there.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
So that's kind of what's dictating the pitch on that. So it's about a 212 pitch. So we're just looking at keep the cost reasonable, just to go to a rolled asphalt roofing there rather than shingle.
Okay. Anybody else have questions for Tom?
And what's along the foundation? What is
Oh.
number 2?
Yeah, 2 is just a vertical siding, and that's matching. We just kind of wrapping the continuation to match of what's existing there. It's called out there as the E6 number, which is an existing.
Vertical siding.
Yeah, it's just a
Is it a
vertical.
wood,
looks like
wood,
a tunnel. Yeah,
Wood
looks like a tongue and groove on there. It's just a budded
Okay.
joint on those.
That's pretty unusual.
Yeah, I thought the same too. But the reason, yeah,
We would want to continue it.
Yeah.
I mean, just in general, we don't see someone doing vertical siding in order to cover the
as the
foundation.
base of the foundation, yeah.
You know, that's not.
Okay, anybody else have anything?
Yeah, so this is approximately. This is pretty close to this.
It's, yeah, it's,
Where the garage is.
yeah, the garage and the shed on the adjacent property is, yeah, it'll be.
You have to really look to get back there.
Exactly, and that's, yeah, that, again, that picture up front, you can kind of see the shed and on the neighboring property. Yeah, this will not be visible at all from anywhere but the backyard. So, yeah, it's a little hidden addition. That will make a big difference to the. Yeah, that.
So is this the second bathroom?
Let's see, I know there's another one on the main floor, yes, but yeah, this would be the, and I trying to remember if there's one upstairs too,
We
but.
got rid of the privy.
Yeah.
We got rid of the privy.
There's only one bathroom, Tom.
Okay, all right, only one existing bathroom, so.
Okay, folks, we're in book 2. Anybody have any sightings, page 87?
Sure.
Okay, how about we start with 2A?
Yes, how about we start with 2A, addition that will not obscure or destroy the character of the original building. You can't even see this one. And I put down A3, it should not obscure or damage character defining features, and it does not. And I put down B, 1 and 2. It should respect the proportion, massing, and siding of the building, and the form and details should be compatible with the building. And someplace, the next page, page 88, D1 and 2, the materials should be similar to those C. And they match the lap dimension, finish, and size of materials on the historic structure.
What's that section?
That is chapter 9.
Section 2.
I had, for some reason, 2A, it's 2A.
Yeah,
Yeah, we got that.
Okay. All right.
2A, 2A1,
Yep, there you go.
2A.
Anybody else have anything?
and 3.
That already covered pretty much everything.
Okay.
Is there a requirement for a vent in the bathroom?
Yes.
Okay, that's different than the existing flue.
Yeah, that's a good point. There would be an event coming up.
There has to be a vent for the toilet and the lavatory.
Yeah, this will be right between the big window and the small window, right on the roof there. Just a small pipe sticking out about 1 foot. So, yeah,
Yeah, this is the bathroom.
Yeah.
So it's right up there. And
Yeah, it's gonna be the backside of the house and it'll just be painted to match the roof.
yes.
There you go. Put that down as a stipulation.
I will.
Okay, how about a motion? If anybody doesn't have anything else to add?
do you want to put something about the utility thing, given we have,
We could do it as a stipulation,
okay.
whatever you want to do. Unless you can find it.
So if I can get really efficient. Utilities. We have utilities in this. Yes, page 58. Page 58, section, it's a section 9 called utilities, and you've got A2, locating it at the rear of the property, but any A6, any device or piece of should have a matte and non-reflective finish.
Okay.
And that's,
That should cover it.
that should cover.
Okay,
So we have no stipulations.
no stipulations now. Okay.
I would move that we approve the application as submitted with the sightings noted.
Okay. How about a second from somebody?
A second.
Sean seconds. Any public comment, discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you guys.
Well, you got all these. Okay. Excellent. Oh, it's paper. All right, next up is Jeff. Come on up, Jeff.
Hey, how's it going?
Somebody left their glasses there. Those yours, Tom?
Oh, ready?
Jeff, come on up and sit in the front row here, please, so we can talk.
Need a table.
Yeah, it'd be better. All right, Jeff, you want to state your name and address and tell us what you're doing?
I'm Jeff Sitton, Tony, local building contractor. Trying to build a second house on Griffith Street here.
Where do you want to start, folks?
What size is this lot? Jeff, what size?
354.
Is it the same size as your other lot?
Yeah, it's almost, it's a tiny bit different, but they're all pretty close.
Here it is on the.
Okay. Some reason I'm missing the plans. Is it your intent to build it exactly like the other house?
So it's same floor plan, but totally different exterior and a totally different interior. And we added a little bit more space to a loft above the living area, so that's the only. A little bit of a physical change on the outside because of the roof line on the side of the building. Extends out across the entire back of the house. Over just better.
But the front end of this looks just exactly like the other house, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, it looks, yeah, except for the, like I said, the siding and the finishes are different.
This is the other house.
So it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
Is there any way that you could
Make it dramatic.
finagle the front a little bit so it wouldn't match the other one? Like perhaps could a, just a suggestion.
Yeah,
Do a
what I
shed
wanted,
with-
actually, what I was gonna do on this house after looking at it, is we're gonna put some eyebrows over the garages to make it look different. And then possibly maybe do something over the two windows, bedroom and kitchen windows there.
How about a shed roof over the door? If you're gonna do eyebrows.
Yeah, we could do that too, that would.
That would help it.
Yeah.
But you've got exactly the same shape.
Well, yeah, understand.
I mean, it's exactly the same shape. this is this with a few modifications. I mean, as far as standing in the street, you're looking at duplicate houses.
The
Yeah, the
siding is
lots,
on-
because of the way the access are, the lots, we decided it's just really, it's kind of a hard floor plan to do anyway, to have access from the street with the setbacks and everything, so there's not a whole lot else you can do with that lot, because there's no other way to access it. So the entrance and the
True, but you could have an entrance over here, you could. do
Well, it's a
garage
split
there.
level. He's got bedrooms downstairs in the garage area,
yeah,
behind the garage. If you look at the floor plans, I thought about that too.
we went over it a lot, and there's no other place to put the entrance, or the staircase in the middle is what works. As far as the
Basically like a
lots, so
split
have
level.
garages.
I looked at the floor plan. Sean, did you see anything? Yeah,
I haven't looked at that.
But yeah, Mark, I think that's a great idea, is to do the shed roof over all those. We could do quite a few other things on the front of the house to change the appearance.
You left anything out, set anything back?
Not really. The garages are already set back, so those are being set. But what we just talked about would do that. It would give the offsets, the guardrails, and the shed roof would change the whole appearance of the house in front.
What about the siding? There's like board and batten on the upper. The wings that stick out.
And this has shingle. And there's board and back, but you know, I mean.
Well, I'm
same-
just thinking
same
across
person,
the front.
different dress
If
doesn't
across the
quite
front
do it.
is a different look than the other one too. I
This
see
is, we did do the siding totally different on this house.
on the front.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mark, where are you talking about a shed roof, just over the front door?
yes, yeah.
Oh,
Then eyebrows.
Yeah, you have.
And over the garage doors.
You have. You break the line there and then a line.
That would dramatically change the look.
Would it be continuous or would it have three separate roofs?
3 separate roofs.
That'd probably help break up the front more than a continuous, don't you think, Brett?
I don't know, because if you had a continuous one, I'm thinking it could look more like a porch.
Oh, that's true.
And then do like a transom or something over the door, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
the
on
only
floor
problem,
plan.
the only problem with that is that the height of the door header, and the top of the door and the bottom of the windows, there's not a lot, there wouldn't be a lot of
there's a
space
lazy
there
right
to
above.
run a continuous.
Yeah.
By the time you got that across, it would probably make the front entrance too low, especially shedding it out forward. You're losing rise. That's good. But I think with the different elevations, that would actually give it more of a.
Cindy, in the other house, what do the top windows look like?
Other house, the top windows, they
Pretty much the same.
pretty much the same.
What's
Maybe-
built? Mark,
Well,
what's
you
that?
gotta-
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
Thank you.
That's what's built.
Oh, so they changed a little bit.
yeah, so they have the board and bat on the front of that one.
But the overall shape of both houses is exactly the same.
Yes,
Yeah.
Well,
that's
that
kind
roof,
of dictated by the lot
Yeah.
and side of the coverage.
well, I think it'd make a big difference if you changed up that little roof over the front porch, the front door. Because that's such a predominant thing on the one that's there now, so.
And on the third lot, on the middle lot, we are gonna change it to like a one car garage, like a small house that's in between the two.
Mhm.
That's a lack of imagination.
Yeah, I mean,
Jeff just said that the one that's gonna be in between is gonna be totally different. Because he's got a lot in between
Yeah,
existing and.
we're probably.
Well, I understand it, but I still think that to say the only possible house you could put here that would have this square footage is this house. I
I'm not
find
saying
that very,
I'm
very
just-
difficult.
I'm trying to take what he has given us
Yes, you're trying to make it work for what he's given us, but what he's given us is visually, yes, you can make some little changes, but it's visually a duplication of what's already there. And if there's one thing consistent in this town is that nothing looks like anything else.
Is there any possibility of coming into the garage or one of the garages off of 12th Street?
No,
Is this
there's
a
not
corner?
enough room to have a driveway and setbacks to have, be able to.
Yeah,
have-
you wouldn't be able, yeah,
And
yeah,
the
you
street
wouldn't be able to
It's
turn.
impossible.
The street's pretty steep on that side too.
Well, and you're right up against the other property. It's a very, it's
Is it a
a,
corner or is it in the middle?
this is in the corner, but the street is basically a one lane. It's not,
Okay.
it's not a real street.
No, it's half.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to turn in, you know.
It's like an alley.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I know, we can change details, but to me, the essentially, it's not the mass and scale so much as, you know, as we start to go through this piece by piece by piece, the first thing it's gonna say is mass and size, and then it's gonna say building and roof form. And, you know, yes,
What if you were to move the,
you can.
Well, we could
what
do
you
some,
wish.
we could do some dramatically different things like we just talked about. It won't look like the same house.
if you were to move the dormers further to the back and move the two bedrooms, the upstairs bedrooms, well, you lose out on the,
Yeah, we kind of play.
The open piece.
The way the upstairs and the downstairs is because of the way the lot is, there's not a whole lot of options.
And the beach here, we're thinking that this is going to look like a new development. Yeah.
Do you have an address for that other house that you're referring to?
Do we have the address for the other house that
Yeah,
we're
it's
referring to?
1112.
Thanks.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, it's XXXX. But so is this one, XXXX on these plans.
Well, what if those upper windows are different? Because that's.
Yeah, because we changed the windows on all the other elevations. We could do that on the front too.
Because that's a noticeable duplication, you know, if you look at one and then the other, they're the same, so that, those upper level windows are a different configuration or one bigger divided one or something instead of those kind of odd shaped ones.
Those are just open because those are just.
Yeah, well,
Well, the
Those are
trap-
not-
those are open to the
those are
outside,
not
right?
Windows,
Yeah.
that's just an
Are
open.
you talking about the trapezoid balcony?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can that
those are
change?
windows.
If you could change that and change the roof line, then that would be a much more visual difference.
They would change the roof line.
Change the roof line is what I'm trying.
Well,
to
if
get
it's
to.
open, can it actually just be open and have like a railing across the front instead of a wall with a hole in it?
Yeah,
I mean, that would look real different.
no, I'm all ears.
So then it would much more give the appearance of a little balcony or
Yeah,
something.
no, I would do that too.
Because right now with the same roof, it kind of, even, and the same box, it looks the same regardless of how you dress it up.
And is this key to the siding work? Color siding.
Yeah, it's kind of like everything else around there, it's just standard.
And so it would be the
Smooth siding.
same exact color for both of these houses.
No, color seems totally different.
What are the colors?
No,
We can't go into that.
We-
Oh, that's right.
We asked for it to
We're
be-
not designing.
We don't-
I know you can't, but they're gonna be totally different.
Well, we would prefer them to be different, but we
Yeah,
don't.
no, I
Can't
know
tell
you
you
can't,
what,
trust me,
yeah.
I understand, but I'm telling you, they're gonna be totally different.
So what if the,
She's
That's part of
this
what
one,
make
one
the
of
house
these,
totally look
looks like a
different too.
window, and then there's, you know, railings here. banisters. That's just like a little.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it'd be too much change on the construction at least,
No.
and that would look different. And this
Jeff,
is in that open hallway. right?
how does the balcony areas drain from getting weather in there? Don't you get much weather in there?
You don't get any weather in there, but they're designed with basically like a shower pan with a drain.
Okay, so. Because what I was
It's
thinking,
all watertight.
what I was thinking is if you, I'm looking more at the upper level floor plan.
Yeah.
Your access is back from where that, that wall is. If you were to like open that up as truly a balcony and get rid of the roof or even have the roof for the hallway like it is, but then put a smaller roof, basically maybe an enlarged overhang, and have that balcony more open. You get a lot more weather for sure, but you might also get, I don't know how much room you get on the two storage sides for.
Yeah, it's just structurally, I think. If you try to change that roof line there, I think it dynamically will change the house for the worse on the front. I don't think it would add to the design of the roof line there if we try to do something else with the roof over those balconies.
How about if that middle window actually looks more like French doors? It wouldn't have to be French doors, but because it opens out into nothing, right, on the inside. Just
Yeah,
like it. So,
It would either have to be, to code, it has to be a railing height, a guardrail height. So we could draw it up to where, we could figure out some kind of like I said, railing.
so is that actually part of the balcony?
It's more like a veranda than it is.
Is that part of the balcony inside as well? Where that middle
It's
window is?
Yeah, it's covered with the same roof line with the
I
house.
think it's about the stair landing. So the window's probably up really high.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. So on the inside, that window, you don't walk up to it or go, if it was a door, you could.
No,
go out.
there's a door on the inside that shuts when you walk out to that little balcony.
Okay, I don't think we're talking about the same thing.
You're talking about the center window.
The center
picture
window on the front of the house.
That's over a stairwell.
Okay, the center
Yeah,
window.
so,
That's the stairwell.
yeah,
So we also changed the elevation on that. We moved that up from the other one too.
but could it be taller or like a door?
No,
No,
because that's the stairwell coming from the
yeah,
main level. And then from the upper level to the landing and from the landing to the upper level. It's a double landing stairwell.
If you did like a
There's a
balcony,
landing at the entry.
well, where's the
balcony off
floor?
that landing.
Yeah, I'm thinking that the floor,
I think that's kind of where you're headed.
yeah, just, well, I wasn't gonna say a balcony out there, but
It would be mid-spans.
That would change the look a little bit too.
so is this the floor line, like right here,
Yeah.
basically?
Approximately.
So the stair landing is here? Okay, oh, okay, okay,
Yeah,
so
so when
the,
you come in,
yeah,
there's a,
yeah,
the main floor,
Yeah.
there's a landing, and there's another landing.
Right,
right here.
that's
that
Okay.
goes up.
so if this actually was like
27 feet, which does
a
not
French
count
door,
all
just with the
this,
size
Right.
proportions,
because.
it doesn't have to be a
Yeah.
door, because you wouldn't be able to go out, correct?
Correct.
But
Yes.
on the outside, it would look
Yes,
like there's
yeah,
a door
and
there, and then
so-
these would be open.
The problem with the street is
Balconies.
you've got
Or not.
probably about
Yeah,
that.
I mean, this may not be a door, we just may have to
5 or
just
6
change it to a
feet.
different
Just
type
a
of
window,
But-
maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I
Kind of slopes
would,
down, then
Okay.
it does
Well,
this.
I'm
then
not
if we-
suggesting a
if we-
door, but the look of.
yeah,
So
so we
much
could
spaces
obviously
between
there's a
entries on
lot of
that
things
landing.
which would
Jump right at the road. That's why this is always that garage.
So Sean was saying
Down.
maybe
Well,
just a
that's
little
nothing.
balcony out here, but you wouldn't be able to get, well, but you'd have to enter it from one of these, because
Oh,
that's
yeah.
up, that's up in the
Yeah,
air,
it's
right?
big.
Can it gets out of from
Or
here.
even if you look, it didn't go out into its deck. Railings up there.
Yeah, because that's the other thing, you know, try not to.
It changes.
You could make that.
Well, and the two-car park.
Okay, I know, sorry.
Yeah, so you get 4 cars.
This is why my projects always.
We'll
sound
see,
so
like,
much-
like Mark was saying,
Yeah.
okay, so.
Yeah, they can park.
We're added eyebrows here, right? And if you go to section of it, right,
The single car.
now you're gonna have
You could change this.
something here,
Consider.
and then,
You change this to a shed.
right, then this, right,
Because he's saying.
because we have more room here,
Sure.
we could make these a little bit higher
Uh-huh.
and put the, another shed
That.
this way,
Oh, yeah.
coming this way.
Right, so that gives-
Right, and then you have, this dynamically changes. the
Yeah, I
whole-
think so
It's gonna look totally different. though.
It'll look totally different.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we could do some stuff with some other details, too, like I said, and if we made these, just.
Just an open railing, yeah.
Right. And then this window is up high because when you're at the top level,
Yeah,
it brings the light in. and you can see.
Sure.
So, but we could
make it.
make this bigger,
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
you know, we could do, you know, a fancier window or
Mm-hmm.
something there.
Are these 2-car garages?
They're two-car garage, single.
They're each single car.
Separate garage.
Yeah.
It's
Two
one car
one-car
garages.
They're 2 1-car.
Now there's a hallway in between them going to those back bedrooms.
Yeah, that whole center of the house, the stairwell, the whole structure.
Hey, John,
We should.
there's another
recognize that
idea where
this
you were
also
kind of doing with the
sits
doors
up
coming
from
off
the
that
road.
second landing.
So
Put a balcony
what
there, but then put a
dominant
gable
view
above
here
that.
From the road is
Oh,
garages.
yeah, I wasn't actually talking about putting a door there. I was talking about the illusion of a door.
That's,
from that
but that's
upper
what we were
window.
just talking about, was putting an actual door there and a balcony above the entrance. And then another roof above that would really break it up.
Mark told me no on that already.
I know, we were like, this looks weird. but-
Money's not a problem, right?
And it kind of looks
Especially
weird,
now.
but it breaks it up.
No, no, it does look, it does
does
look,
change
I
it.
like the
Yes.
idea of a door, you know.
Because I really feel like breaking the roof up is
This
just gonna
is a
make it look
single
different.
garage.
Right now,
Yeah,
the
so-
roof hasn't changed.
Well, so, yeah, so this is what he was telling.
But the roof on the left side has changed quite a bit.
How?
Huh?
Where is the roof change product? That helps a little.
Because I've got both of these and I don't see any change in the roof at all.
Yeah. So. See, on this
Just
house,
getting rid of this, the wall
I don't know.
part.
Yeah,
Yeah, that helps a lot. But the more
this right here, it looks like that.
that's a little bit.
This looks like that.
Where's the big roof change?
It's totally different. Plus, we did a cantilever in
That's
the
not what-
bathroom here. This side of the house is
On
totally
this one
different
from
than
the
this
other
side.
Uh-huh.
I think it's something back here.
Yeah, you mean over here, yes. The north elevation, that's north.
Yeah.
Can you see
Yeah, the north
that?
elevation, the elevation from.
Yes, it's totally different.
Is-
Yeah, I had a
it's on the
bunch of
side.
photos.
So it's on the side, can you
But
see
the
it?
front of the house is.
The thing that's changing is.
Right, we were talking over here, so you can kind of visualize it more. We did 2 overhang eyebrows here, and then we can do something with this
This
You guys
window.
have
just
some
that's longer.
She was suggesting we could open this up and make these
I sent you a memo.
rail balconies.
Yeah, I called
We could
your
change
gal,
this
she was
roof,
gonna tell you.
make this higher, we could change this roof, put another shed
Because so long.
here. That dramatically changes the
Right there.
Here's my
whole
Zoom
roof.
thing. So I turned up my thing. and
Just
signed
kind of
in the
like
other way.
this
There you all
over
were.
here, change that side of the house. Those details.
And this is a
Well, I
bedroom.
knew she was
Bedroom,
talking to that, but I
kitchen.
didn't know.
Yeah.
So
So,
can you separate the windows?
well, so,
Can you separate the
I don't know,
windows?
because that almost looks like
um,
doors
So you
there.
and
guys
the
didn't see
kitchen is
me when
gonna
I
be hard
started?
because of
Okay, she
the
hadn't added it
cabinet
yet.
layout.
I was like,
In bedrooms, you have to have egress, emergency
well, that's
egress.
right.
So,
Yes.
So yeah, if
Talking
we're
about
gonna make that doors, it's gonna be.
in this
Yeah,
one,
this-
we could,
this
this one would be really
and then
hard.
she changes from that.
Just the space plan inside, it takes away all of the, plus it's such
Yeah.
space for.
What's this in here?
Kitchen. See, this is the kitchen. That's the front window.
Well, it
We have
looks
a
like
range
that.
seat there.
So the other one may be
If
different.
you separate that.
See.
I'll have to look at it.
You
I'm not
lose the
saying
bench, so
it's
you have to do
impossible,
something different on that wall.
But I can look at that too.
So we're gonna build the house in the middle.
Make it real simple.
So we're gonna see that garage as well.
Just because.
So it's gonna have
Like
to,
6 garages.
well, the middle one, they're only way to have access for garages. But the middle one, we'll just do a smaller like garage.
Okay, let's do this. Jeff knows which direction we're going and talking. Throwing out some comments.
Yeah, I can see some of these
ideas.
elevations.
Let's table this and let him come back with drawings.
I would like to have a general discussion now about the fact that we're going to have an entire series of garages.
There is no other place to put this garage.
You have them on Main Street, on what
Yeah.
we're doing now, all the garages are off Main Street. There's 4 or 5.
Yes, except some garages are set back and some garages are more to the front and some garages are, yes, they
That's the
all are
purpose of the
there.
eyebrow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
break that
I understand that, but this is still a flat facade on the thing. And when you go down Main Street, yes, I've been looking at how those garages are coming out and they're attempting to set back from the house. That's what I'm saying, the whole shape is, each shape of those houses is different from the other shapes.
Yeah.
And so you don't have the sense of a parade of garages. That's not what comes up in your mind when you go down Main Street.
Understood.
Because that's, I think, one of the strengths of the Main Street development is that each site is quite unique to itself.
Where would you like him to put the garages?
Well, but you're looking, I don't have a garage either, but I've never had a garage, so no garages. But it would take a whole different approach to how you're going to organize the house. I mean, essentially, you want a house that has this many bedrooms.
Do you want him to build this house half the size of yours? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that I think that there are other ways that you could probably end up with a 3-bedroom house. On that lot.
Well,
Man, that's a pretty tough lot.
I understand it's a tough lot. You've dealt, Main Street deals with some tough lots too.
well, and it's better than just all garage on about, like a big double car garage door on one floor. That just
All
looks
right,
like a
let me
big
see
old
what I can
garage.
do to make it look different.
Okay.
How about that?
Why don't somebody make a motion to table this?
I have a question first.
Okay, sure.
The review from the town administrator indicates that the lot coverage is 39.88%. And the maximum lot coverage allowed is 35, is that
No,
correct?
it's
No, it's
40. I think it's 40.
Okay, so
I got, no, Gary did it based on.
Yeah, I think it's 40. I mean,
I mean-
granted, on this size lot,
It-
anything's gonna crowd the edges because, that's why,
Right.
I mean, this is the size the lots have been historically in that block. They are smaller than the standard lots in some of the rest
Makes
of
it
the town.
tougher.
And it reduces the options a lot for greatly, never mind, a lot, but it reduces the options greatly, and I think that's.
Okay, any other discussion or something we're gonna bring up to Jeff while we're here?
All right.
How about somebody make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we table this application until next time, so you can bring us back some new drawings.
Well, thank you. Thanks for your time.
Somebody got a second?
I'll second.
Bob seconds it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? There we go.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Appreciate
Okay,
it.
thanks.
Garage question.
Yes.
Going for any house that's big enough to have 2 garages.
Say
No,
that
why
again.
does it need to have 2 garages?
Yeah.
No, seriously, why does?
Well, is there
You
any?
tell him, Sean. Sean's a garage guy.
It's just their choice. It's yours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you're
everybody has
required to
one.
have a garage, we historically are an off-street parking. You're
Yeah.
not actually
Yeah,
required to have a
two-
garage.
I actually
You're
have two,
required for 2 spaces.
I have 2
to park.
spaces, but one is closed in with the French door. So it looks like it's part of the house rather than the garage.
I remember that.
We thank Kathy for that.
That wasn't what you wanted either.
Yes,
was
I
it?
wanted 2 garage doors, but
I guess my concern is that when these 3 houses are built, we have this entire stream of garages. And then anybody who wants to put in million garages is gonna say, well, you've already approved all these garages that line up this way in this town. So I want to be able to do the same thing.
Does the fact that this is on a corner change the setback on the corner side? Or is it still a 5-foot setback?
I don't know.
It changes on the corners, doesn't it?
I don't know,
It may, I will look that one up because I don't know.
because that could be a significant impact. It's just, I mean, the setbacks are all minimal.
Yes, because
big
actually
house.
40% of a lot,
Yeah.
it just puts you inside your setbacks.
Well, and the truth is, there's small lots in this town and there aren't a whole lot of garages. You know, I would love a garage. I don't have anywhere I could put one. I couldn't get in it if I did. And so people have their stuff. And that's why we have a lot of people that want sheds because they don't have a garage, you know, and then if you have 2 cars, one of your garages is gonna be full of your stuff and, you know, it just, I prefer people's stuff to be out of the yards and the, you know.
I understand that, but it just seems to me that this is a scary precedent.
Well, I don't think a 2-car garage is
And
unreasonable
are
for a
these
new
houses
house.
too big for these lots? These are big.
Well, it's
houses.
coverage size and they fit the, you know, size
It
parameters.
meets the
otherwise.
rules.
Yeah,
It meets
You
the
can't tell
rules.
people how big they can build.
Actually, you can.
well,
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
height and
Yeah,
size.
but I mean,
have-
height and stuff,
Right, I
not,
mean-
not footprint.
But what about
Well,
this?
Yes,
You know
we
what?
have.
We have.
30,
We have
30,
a couple of
40%.
times, a couple of
I
very
remember
significant
specifically
times
one.
when they were far under their 40%.
Okay.
And the one that was originally planned for where the Main Street project was certainly did not take 40%.
Oh, yeah.
Just was completely out of scale with its neighborhood.
Yeah.
Now, this is not completely out of scale with its neighborhood.
Yeah,
No, not at all.
And there was one on Spring Street that was
Yeah.
completely out of scale with its neighborhood.
Okay.
where
Yeah.
we- And
Understood.
and we said, no, you're just completely out of scale. This isn't out of scale with the, because the houses start to get, well, they start to get larger the further north you go. So actually, the overall size of this square footage wise isn't.
So,
One of the problems on this street is that this is an elevated lot. I mean, those driveways are going up to these garages. So that when you're on the street, you are really staring the garages in the face. And so the idea of putting them run one right after another with no, yeah, you know, there would be some sort of a way to give some differentiation on the facade. I mean, I know it's easier to build a square box and then fill it. But that's exactly what didn't happen, thanks goodness, on Main Street. You built pieces of boxes
Yeah,
and
they
moved
had
those pieces around.
Okay, we beat this horse now.
nope, agreed.
Okay. Let's see, would you like to
oh gosh.
use yourself?
I'm going to, oh, yes.
Take a seat on the bench, please, Miss Planks.
I'm gonna sit on the bench. All right, would you please
Okay,
state your name for,
Introducing myself, I'm Betsy Blakeslee, I live at 3 Rose Street. And are wanting to use red Colorado 24 by 24. So our back paddock. We have 24 by 24 red flags that are 1 inch and a section of the backyard. And the other part of it is grass. So we'd like to make that uniform in the back. We don't really, it's very tough. We don't have a lot of light back there. And it's tough to grow grass and we just don't feel like we should be wasting water on that. So the flagstones that are existing will be used for the path that goes around the house on the side to the front. There's already flagstone paths on the front of the house. There's one huge piece of rectangular flagstone that sits right in front of the stairs. And then at some point for the house, they put in a separate set of stairs, which erode continuously. And I don't think are historically accurate for the house. If you see there, there's a historic fence. This is, I think that picture was probably taken in 1880, 1890. Didn't that guy come through town take historic pictures at that point? And so it shows this original fence section that was there. So our plan is to eliminate those stairs and just carry the flagstone through that section and have the historic fence with that. And there'll be 4-foot flagstone red Colorado stairs to the right of the planter. That fence that's there with the brick under it and the posts. At some point, somebody took a good section of that out. So that's where we're putting. There's actually a set of stairs there now, flagstone stairs there. We just don't feel like we need all of these stairs. So that's what we'd like to do.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? How about sightings? Anybody have any sightings?
Book 2, page 71.
What chapter are you?
Chapter 7.
Chapter 7. 7. Okay.
And actually, seven F, which means that it was on the, actually on page 72.
72. Okay.
What
Yeah,
does that say, Cindy?
it says appropriate patio materials set in sand include flagstone, brick and stone.
Okay.
Patio materials set in concrete are inappropriate.
Right.
Patio. Yes, well, the dimension is the space you have. We get. And then H, the handrails at ramps or decks should be designed to be compatible with the primary structure for the replacement of the historic fence.
Is that still on 72?
That's on 72.
Okay.
That is H.
Anybody have anything to add?
Well, I have cocktails with that.
Yeah.
Fence looks great.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like you have a lot.
Okay. If nobody has anything else, somebody want to make a motion, please.
make a motion to approve with the citing stated.
I'll second.
Any public comment? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? There you go.
Yay. Sidewalk done.
Oh, yeah, I saw it.
Oh my God.
Okay, how about minutes? Anybody have any corrections on the
We were
minutes?
gonna discuss for a minute. our
Oh, that's right.
45
I'm sorry.
Did anybody read their 45 pages?
I did, yeah,
You know what? I grabbed my stuff and ran. I just got my stuff in.
I did. I had a couple things and I tried, and unfortunately I did it on my computer, so I don't know what they were. Sort of did.
It'd be great, you could just email that to me. I'll stick it right in the middle.
And actually, I hope that you will read your first 45 pages. What was intriguing to me was how thorough the design guidelines are for the historic commercial district. I mean, they're really, I'd forgotten about all those little pieces. They are incredibly
We
thorough.
really haven't had much problem with the
No.
historic district. It's-
No, I mean, this is an easy 45 pages, guys.
Yeah.
It seriously is. It's sort of a whip through. I had one question on page 9, just, it's a question. On B1, do we actually ever use, it's the height thing? New construction should be within 5 feet of the average height of historic structures within the immediate neighborhood. And that's within a 300-foot radius to,
I don't think we use the 5-foot thing because there's the other height regulation, you know.
yeah, but those are maximums and we can do minimum.
We have pulled that out.
Yes, we
Didn't
have.
do it on the bread and breakfast, right?
Yeah, we did it, yeah.
Yeah.
We did
Yeah,
it.
we did, we did.
that one was gonna
And
be
so,
really
yeah.
small.
And that, it makes sense, it's so definite, within 5 feet of the average height of historic structures. I almost would rather it just said structures in the neighborhood.
Instead of
Because-
historic.
Rather than historic, because
Yes.
if you take the Main Street project, for example, the house that is closest to historic structures, if you just use the height of those structures, because it's talking about the height of the structures, not the apparent appearance height. But if you just took the height of the average height of the neighboring structures, happen to know that one because that's what we used when we had discussed that land earlier. The neighboring structures, you have Nice House and you have Draxie's house, and you have very small houses within that the average height in that 300 feet is, the houses we have approved are not within 5 feet of it, but nor are they upscale with houses in the neighborhood, especially any house that's newer at all. So I'm not sure that the word historic is really helpful there. But the average height of your surrounding structures, yes. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But that's my only note in my first 35 pages, because that's as far as I got.
So I have a recommendation. I'm sorry I forgot my book. When I'm going through all of this, trying to do sightings and so forth, I'm doing a lot of page flipping to see what chapter and section and so on. I think that there's a way we could graphically design the bottom right-hand corner to identify what chapter and section we're in, and prominently display the page number as well in a bold.
We use paper clips for that. Like, you know, book 1, book 2, that kind of thing. But yeah, it would be.
And
the colors would
but
definitely help.
I think
Yeah.
for people who are going to put together their own application and they've never opened this book in their life before.
Oh, yeah.
I just think for our customer, it would really be a lot easier for them.
And the only drawback is it would mean reprinting the whole.
So
Like
when
that.
we make these changes.
So that's what I did in mine. But
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Smarter
I did exactly the same thing.
pants.
That's handwritten on the bottom of every page, but are we saying that we're gonna make these edits and like just change that one page that the edits on?
Yeah. We did this.
Yes, Jen, yes.
One thing that would be really super cool is you can't search. You can't search in the guidelines. It's a PDF.
I'll let you.
You know what I mean?
What about an index?
I'll let you search.
Good job.
Like I just searched for flagstone.
Really?
It popped up all the flagstones.
We're on the PDF.
Train her.
Okay, then yeah, I guess I need help.
Okay. Brenda,
So
Jen,
Jen needs some training.
I don't ever try to search,
Uh-uh.
but I use them.
Well, that was.
So I brought up
Yeah,
like-
I use- that would be handy, yeah.
Like
Yeah,
12 flagstones when I just searched for flagstone.
I've never done that. I use the paper.
I think you need to train us all.
Where's your download from? From the
yeah,
download?
yeah, how did you?
I don't know, it's
get
been
that?
a few years since I downloaded this, so.
Do
But
you
you
have a
had to
special
download it
program
from
that you use
some-
that?
Yeah,
Bluebeam?
town.
Huh?
Bluebeam,
I'll have to find that, 'cause I've downloaded
What
these.
was that? I don't know.
Put 'em on
what
my
Bluebeam is.
that's what.
Yeah, well,
Wow.
I've
Is
never
that
done
for edit?
it.
Is it-
It's not searchable, so if we
Okay.
could make it searchable, he has Bluebeam, we don't have that.
Well,
I'm just saying, that would be
I think the
nice.
last time we did this, we came up against the problem of it being on a disc that we couldn't find or whatever, and that's when Marinelle, didn't she do it all, redo it all or something for us? We had meetings here and went through and made. the
Yeah,
cha-
well,
original
we made
changes.
changes, but actually, you see, the changes are pretty easy because
Yeah, they're pretty.
they're pretty easy, because at this point, we can get into, we have this document in, at least the town used to, in a way that we can make minor changes and reprint a given page, and you could fix it on whatever.
I can
else you
fix
have.
anything on this.
We have to put all of our changes together and take them to the town board of selectmen. We cannot change, just choose to change them.
So how many books would it be to reprint?
3.
20? I
No,
mean,
we need, what, 2 downstairs, 1 for all the members. At a back.
It'd be nice to have one on the internet so that applicants, when they go to the website, can search stuff.
That's where the search would come in very handy. for
Yeah.
those
Yeah,
Yes,
especially people who are, more and more people will just be doing this virtually. I mean,
yeah.
they will not be like,
because the guidelines are out there.
yeah, but
Yeah, and you can,
they need to be able to search.
Search.
Yeah,
I'm in this section on this chapter on this page,
or windows, sometimes it's hard to find little things, and I'm down there, now I know after 7 years.
And I'm kind of a good example, because I just learned this book, and I have a lot to learn. But I mean, it's
Good
good even this hard copy book,
Yeah.
it is
Well,
craziness.
the first thing is, of course, figure out what book you need to be in for your particular project. I'm talking about the public and somebody making an application. And then there's a little more specific, but yeah, it takes a little flipping through to.
Well, and I would also recommend that, as we did in the brochure, that we lay this out a little more carefully and cleanly on an introductory page.
Betsy wants to redo the whole book.
I
You need to get a hobby.
Yeah.
I want to
This could
see
be
it online where somebody can search.
Right,
And yeah, I think that feature is something that we really do try to need to figure
and that
out.
may just be a matter of getting the right software to go ahead, port this over as a PDF, and then get the right software in place to be able to search it. Because you say you can search it.
And what, you're using a thing called Bluebeam?
And I've got
I'll
a
download
PDF thing, I'll
the
try
version
search, see
later.
if it'll allow me to search
okay,
on
so
what I have.
you people that are wanting to look at the guidelines, we'd like you to get this software thing called Bluebeam.
No, put it, you put it on the,
Yeah.
online.
Online, and so that somebody who's coming in can do that.
I've thought of, would it make sense to do a checklist type of thing for, mainly for new, new home type stuff? Where, because it's, it's all pretty much the same stuff.
It wouldn't hurt.
And it might be a whole lot quicker going through, just checking things off. It either complies or it doesn't.
I think what's happening here, and it's just occurring to me now, in here is we're either correcting typos or we're making the book more usable.
Well, no, you've got the middle one, I mean, because the things we would be correcting are typos, they are whole things that we either don't have enough information on. Or, I mean, there are still some guidelines that need work,
Yeah.
whether we put them online or whether we put them in the book.
It's
We're not
things-
simply
things that
at
are
the mechanics of this, we're
only-
actually just this
Stuff that
guy.
we miss.
Yeah.
So that's not a typo. It's
No,
a-
Well, like one that came up today with solar panels, that we really need to update that section on.
Yes, we need to update
That
that
section
whole
needs some
section.
update.
Yeah, I think a lot of the materials type stuff we need to take a second look at.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
That's where I
And
started.
maybe
to
like the
run.
window part, because that.
Windows, yes.
Yeah.
And get a little more, yes, so there are sections that we need to even change the commission's approach. So we have two issues, one is changes in the guidelines, and one is the operation of how people come to it. Because I noticed the fronts of the application, people aren't even identifying their design character areas. So I know they're not looking at guidelines.
Yeah, well, they don't know where to look. I don't think a lot of people do look at that.
Well, I do tell them
Yeah.
about the books when they.
I'm sure you do.
When they ask, when they're asking questions.
Does it still have the 3/16 scale on them?
Yeah, it's,
We might want to-
but you see, I don't know because.
I don't know, because I don't have.
Because, well, yes, I do, because this one does have a back to it. Scaled at 1/4 to,
Oh, so that's changed.
yes, it's
Cool.
1/4 for the major project. But you see, they're not, the front of these aren't even filled out. And that would be, because there are a lot of times when we're looking on this one, for the gals, solar panels. They sent in all the materials about the solar panel. And yes, there was a diagram of that, and there was no picture of the house.
Yeah.
And that's, come on here, we have to have photographs. So I don't know. Fixing the guideline, of course, won't fix the fact that their
We've
application.
kind of been through this thing before too, about making the application.
Well, I try to check it when they submit it, so if I'm not doing something,
Although technically that solar panel one had a bunch of photos. Just not.
I know, yeah. So when Cindy said to get that, and if I included, I feel like it's kind of I want to include what's needed, I don't want to include too much. I've had it before where I've taken stuff out that I didn't think was necessary and then they needed it, so I'm going,
There's not too much.
that's what I thought, I mean, I get it, there was no.
This book is that it's in black. It's not prohibitively expensive. The entire book, the question is, to me, this is a very I sort of like, are we gonna just tinker with the book, or are we gonna really dig into it?
In what sense? In the guidelines?
In the sense of the guidelines, in the sense of the format, in the sense of there are pieces to me that are not included in the guidelines, like is the application form?
No.
Okay. So it seems to me if the guidelines are just for us, it's one thing. The guidelines are for us and for the people who, like me, who just moved into town. Say, well, you have to check out the guidelines. I gotta tell you, it was not inherently obvious to me what was going on in the guidelines. It took me quite a bit of time, I'm still learning. But I think there's a way we can do an introductory section that kind of lays out a little more simplicity. This is the purpose of the guidelines, and this is what your expectations will be, and you'll have to locate yourself in the sections.
Yeah.
And here's an easy way to look at the map. Maybe there's a map of each section and you book.
Isn't that on the website though, that tells you how to do all that?
It doesn't, all the pieces are there. Nobody gives you step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4.
I can add that to the website if you guys want me to.
I mean,
Give me what
it sounds
you
like
have,
what
and I can-
a user's guide would, that kind of ties all this together and for the uninitiated, kind of points to them what they need to be doing.
The uninitiated and people like me who, you know.
Well, anybody who comes into town, I mean, that,
Holy mackerel, I was like,
Well, if you're gonna submit a subdivision, for instance, there is a checkoff sheet. Your application must contain these things. And that's what we tried to do on the back of this application, but nobody touches the back of the application. Yeah, I know you pointed out, but nobody fills it,
People
fills
don't
it in.
read is
And,
truth.
and so I think I understand what you're both sort of saying is, yeah, if we have this, you know, you gotta do step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. And if all of it's not completed, you get your application handed back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I tried to do, believe me. Maybe I had one thought,
it
like,
needs to be easier for you too, though.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
working with the customers.
But somebody still has to review that everything is complete.
Yeah.
the administrator does that.
And you know, there's something, I know that this sounds very
He's
simplistic.
like, when he writes his report,
But
he's checking.
He's
he's
looking
checking
at
the
code.
zoning.
Yeah.
He's checking the zoning and the other elements of the code. He is not checking whether the application is complete.
Well, he does go through and check that. When I mean, Ken always did for the past years.
No,
Anyway,
he checks the zoning.
when you guys get the brochure done, I was just thinking when Mary knows when a house sells, so we could send out that brochure to the new homeowner, I was thinking, so they would have a clue about that when they move to town.
Book 1 gives you a process on the application.
What?
Book 1 gives you the process on the
I thought
application.
there was some steps in there.
Nobody reads book 1.
Nobody reads book 1. And it's
That's like the search for it.
Yeah, so it needs
two
to.
languages, so it's not straightforward.
Does book 1 prepare and submit a complete application package for formal review?
And here's the other thing about the guidelines, like people like me, I mean, I've been writing all the names and sections and everything. But see this colored piece of paper that Cindy has stuck in her guidelines? That needs to be in every guidelines. The division of here are the 3 sections.
3 books.
3 books, and guess what? I'll even pay for the pages, 50 books that have a tab there that says
Yeah.
book 1. book
Mine
2.
came that way.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
That's because somebody who held
Somebody did that.
previously tabbed.
Whoever-
I never did get a book. I had to put my own in.
I think what I foresee,
Paper clips to separate
Yeah.
the books.
I think what I foresee happening is if we're just going through making sort of minor, we're gonna do an awful lot of work to make minor changes. We might want to do a little more work just to kind of question page by page. Could this be better or not better?
Well, that is what we ultimately want to do. And you're talking about kind of a redesign of the actual format and use of it to make it easier. And I appreciate that. But we're still kind of going through looking for things that
Looking
need
for
to be
content.
changed, that have been missed or omitted. Because things come up now that didn't come up 20 years ago.
So
or
this is a
more.
great preliminary exercise and we can decide later.
Yeah.
if we
Once
want
we
to do
get
more.
the actual
Is that right?
change, physical changes in wording and stuff.
Because we have, I think we really do need, I mean, Brent just picked out some areas these guidelines aren't helpful for solar panels. They aren't helpful, you know. We have windows and we have materials things that we treat differently. We have a guideline that says we cannot basically use anything like that's close to hardy board, and we've been using hardy board for quite a while. So we have the content to really get straight. And, you know, I would say that.
It's the change
We
in
don't
materials
do
too.
a lot for new construction either.
No. in the
Everything is
historic
very,
district, we
very
don't.
oriented to
Yeah.
stuff that's already here,
There's
fixing it up.
There's small
Maybe
sections.
there ought to
in
be a
there.
whole nother book or section on brand new construction.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, in book 2, in the historic area, because obviously in the book 3, it's all new construction. So it's not book 3, but that's the kind of basic content things that before we reorganize the whole thing, we might try to be sure of our
I
content.
don't think we have a major reorganization. I just think we have some graphic things we can do that will really help people to navigate this more easily.
I see for a new house though, instead of going, oh, we're in this section, oh, now in page,
Yeah,
you start
now
at
we
page
go
7 to
new,
19, then we go to page 51.
Yeah.
Have a whole section just for that, instead of this.
Yeah,
jumping
something that
around
we
to
can
the
go
book.
through pretty quickly, and it either meets the criteria or it doesn't.
I think that
And
would
if
be.
it doesn't,
helpful.
then it's open for discussion on what. you
It
can
would
do
be
to
kind of a
make it.
blend of the existing ones, but in a section for new construction, so you don't have
And, you know, this book is a masterpiece. I mean,
to.
seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, when I, you know, read every page of the book, I'm like, I can't believe the content of this book. And so the more that we can make this book more usable for more people to read the book and so forth, I mean, it's an incredible thing.
Cindy and I were talking recently that somebody, one of the other towns has been using our guidelines. Who was it?
Oh, no, most of the guidelines west of us, if you want to look at Breckenridge's guidelines, look at Telluride's guidelines. You know, the way I met Tom Hale?
Yeah.
Was through a letter. I didn't know him actually, that the town received in the 1970s. Would you please send a copy of your guidelines to the city of Telluride for, because we've just passed an ordinance. These things have been copied all over the place. Salida guideline, with all these, they look very familiar to you, and you sort of go, how did that happen? You know, and because yeah, they have been the model, because we were the first town, and because we took our guidelines was what got us thrown out of the Supreme Court in that first round. They didn't throw us out, but the reason we won three out of the 4 points. We won the right to have the design review, which was good because the state had no authorizing law. We won the right to have it be townwide, new and old, etc. The problem was we didn't have a set of guidelines that differentiated between how we treated historic buildings and how we treated others. And so that's when these things were first invented. But of course, this version was redone in whatever the date is on the front of this, 2002. Woo! So it's 20 years old. So yeah, it's time for a real shakedown, actually.
2010.
You have 2010?
Well, we
revised?
did do those ones. in
But those
Yeah.
revisions
Yeah.
were, you know,
That's
we
one.
need to add this little paragraph. of
The
that
2010 one was
paragraph.
Mary Elton. And that was more some few things that were missed and had to be reordered.
We
I
put
think we changed
patios
some
in.
pictures, maybe. Yeah.
Well, y'all got some sections like or supplements on windows and doors from other projects before I was on here that aren't in all the books too.
I know.
And I
yes.
don't have those in mine either, but that should be added somehow.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
wonderful supplements on windows and doors.
Because that wasn't put in the paper copy I got, and it's not on the PDF one. I got the basic one, but not all the extra stuff y'all have developed.
Well, Brent, we need to be here on.
Okay, so where are we going?
So
So where are we going?
I understand, but there's extra stuff that would be helpful in the book.
Yeah,
I think we really should take a look at the content, so we
Yes.
know that we
Yes.
have the content we want.
so,
Yep.
so
And
if
we
we go
can-
to the trouble to redo it, then we don't go, oh, we should have done.
We should have done this or that. Let's get our content straight and
All
let's
right.
try to figure out how we make it searchable online.
I can look at that part.
We can do that. We'll,
And even make it
at the
more
same time.
searchable in its paper version.
It's just a matter
Yeah,
of.
but we're not gonna reprint the whole thing at the moment.
Just put tabs in or whatever we need.
Yeah, I mean,
It wouldn't be that big a deal, send us to the printer. Do it. I mean,
No, it wouldn't, but we have to know what content we
Yeah,
want.
exactly. I mean,
yeah, you gotta get it, the document updated first and then rather than print it
Section on Windows.
in spiral bound or something.
Section on silver. You know.
We're gonna incorporate it in the places that it goes.
Do you want to make your notes pages 1 through 45 and email them to each other and me? So that
Are
the
you
next
getting tired of
meeting we
this?
can
What are you trying to say, Susan?
Susan's had enough of our chit chat. Let's get this over with.
Yeah,
So you
it'd
want,
be good to discuss them, I think, so everybody next time.
right now?
No,
Oh, okay.
but let's,
Yes, for
I've
the
done
next
the first
meeting,
40, so
for the
We have
next
to fix the
meeting, all you
content.
students, I want you to
That's
do.
right.
it's
class.
80 pages. For those of you that haven't got the first 40.
Do the 80 pages. Okay,
Next
this-
meeting after that will be 120, so.
okay, so we're gonna do
Forget
that.
your book, Jeff. I forgot my book.
You know what, I was all spread out at my desk, all ready to go.
Yeah.
Clicked on, and I was like,
You did your hair and everything,
so we are.
I was like, dang.
Now we got minutes.
Oh,
Oh,
Did you get my
I didn't
text?
get minutes.
I texted,
Yeah,
I
they were,
texted
yeah.
you real
I
quick.
didn't see
I'm on
any.
my way.
Correct.
I grabbed my papers, and my
I-
book was on the floor beside my
I
door.
would move that we approve the minutes of March 24th. I really did read them.
Okay,
I second that.
oh, I did, 6 o'clock. Okay, who seconded?
Me,
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Let's adjourn.
Okay.
And we can chit chat.
Hey, Jen, did they answer your question about the lot down there that they